Do you have problems every holiday season trying to figure out what to buy for that hunter in your family? Well, stay tuned for the rest of this video, and I'm going to give you 15 different ideas ranging from $900 all the way down to $8 that are guaranteed to impress. All right, let's dive in. So first things first, we're gonna start with the most expensive and we're gonna work our way down. Gift idea number one, smartwatch. Now right out of the gate, I will say this is a selfish edition. I've wanted this watch for 3 years, but never been able to justify spending that much money on myself for a watch. So I'm gonna recommend the Garmin Fenix 7 Sapphire Solar. So this is the top of the line Garmin watch. It retails for $900 USD. I'm gonna put links for every single gift down in the bottom, and I'm gonna quote prices in US dollars. Now, I'm Canadian, and lots of people watching this are Canadian, but I had to just pick one format, and the shopping is easier in the States. So just for ease of communication, we're gonna stick with US dollars. So the Garmin Fenix 7 is the flagship smartwatch from Garmin. I would argue it's the best smartwatch you could get for somebody who spends a lot of time training, a lot of time in the mountains. It's got built-in GPS functionality, training functionality. It monitors your heart rate. It'll track your sleep. It'll track your pulse ox. It's phenomenal. Now, like I say, it retails for $900 US. That is an incredibly expensive watch. But if you're looking for that big ass, super impressive gift for the loved one in your life, you can't go wrong with this. The other reason I like this is that you don't have to ask them anything. There's no sizing to figure out. If they're not wearing it on their wrist right now, you know they don't already have it. And that's one of the big reasons that I put together this list is that as hunters, a lot of the stuff we use is so technical and so personal. You have to ask us a ton of questions to know which version to buy. And by the time you've done that, you've kind of given away what you're gonna get us and the surprise is gone. So I wanted to put together a list of things that you could buy relatively confidently and the person would like them and it would fit them and they could use them right away, but you wouldn't have to ask them a ton of questions. So in the number one spot, most expensive gift on the list, Garmin Fenix 7. In the number two spot, Ultralight tarp. So I am going to recommend an ultralight Cuban fiber tarp from Z-Packs. I used this last year. It's making my top 10 of 2022 gear list this year. It is one of the most practical, usable, multi-function devices I have in my pack for backcountry hunting. I love this thing. So it's 7 feet by 9 feet. I think it weighs 5 ounces. The nice thing is, no matter what shelter or sleep system the hunter in your family uses, this is like an add-on. You can use it as a day tarp while you're glassing. If you get caught out in the rain, you can throw it up for shelter. If you want to increase the vestibule space back at your main camp, you can ramp it out as an additional cover or awning type thing over the vestibule of the shelter you already have. So it retails for $299 and you can find it at zpacks.com. I've had it for a couple years now. This year was the first year that I got to really put it through its paces. It's sturdy, it's lightweight, and coming in at $300, it's still that high-end top tier gift, but not quite as ridiculous as the Garmin watch. Coming in hot at number 3, memberships. So there is a bit of a shameless self-plug here, but we're gonna get to that in a minute. I started looking at my own list of things that I buy for myself that you wouldn't need to know a lot about me to buy for me. And I realized there's a few membership services that I subscribe to that are vital to my success as a hunter. And I was thinking, what a great gift those would make. So first out of the gate, I'm gonna recommend Go Hunt. Now, Go Hunt has 3 tiers of membership. It has the Gear Rewards membership, which just lets you track points and accrue points and get free stuff in the gear shop for $20 a year. It has the Maps membership for $50 a year. And then it has the Insider membership for $150 a year. Now, the other thing to keep in mind with the Go Hunt memberships is that there's always some kind of rebate offer currently existing. So I think right now, if you get the Insider membership, you get $50 back in the gear shop. I think they had the 50 for 50. Like if you bought the $50 mapping membership, they actually gave you $50 back in the gear shop, making it almost free. So if you're gonna do this, just spend a couple minutes on their site, or even send the Instagram account a bit of a membership and just say, I'm trying to buy this for a loved one. What current rebate do you have? And could we just point it at their account after I set it up for them? So Go Hunt, awesome membership. Up next is OnX. So this is the mapping app that I use. Now the Elite membership is $100 a year, and that's good for all the contiguous lower mainland states. Now you can use it for mapping functionality outside of the states, but it will lack some of the more detailed layers. But they've even started adding the wildlife management units here in Canada. They've recently added topographic layers here in Canada. Now, there are other mapping options out there. I've used them. I think they're probably just as good. The reason I suggest OnX is that I've been using it for over 5 years. I've never had an issue with it. It's never crashed in the field. I've never lost a cached map. And it now houses all of my data points in storage. So it's just easier for me to stay on the platform I'm already on. But if you know for a fact that, he likes Base Map or another one of these, I think Scout is another one, any mapping app will do. I just personally prefer OnX. And then Treeline Pursuit. So Mark Livesey has started an elk e-scouting platform with this e-scouting masterclass. And it's not just for elk, but it's primarily for elk. I think almost any hunter would benefit from having this class. Mark is a really intelligent guy. He's set up a lot of really great tutorials in this masterclass. I can't recommend it enough. And it goes for $120 for a 2-year membership. Finally, shameless self-plug, Mindful Reviews. Some of you know I've just launched Mindful Reviews. It is basically a community-based platform where I garner user feedback in order to help me decide what to review, when to review it, what elements of it to review, and then I raffle off the gear after I review it, and I give away prizes every 3 months to the lifetime members. Memberships run from $5 a month to $50 a year, or $250 for a lifetime. So I think a lifetime membership would be a phenomenal gift. They're never gonna have to pay for it again. They're definitely gonna have really good odds of winning some prizes over the span of their membership. And we already have a lot of members. The community is really strong. People are giving each other feedback, sharing hunting tips. There's a lot to be gained. So that's the end of the shameless self-plug for the video. In the 4th spot, we got a knife sharpener. So yet again, this is something I personally asked for this year. This is the WorkSharp Precision Adjust Elite. Now there's 2 versions. There's the Precision and the Precision Adjust Elite. I'm recommending the Elite. It's a little bit more at $140 for the package, but it comes with a lot more stuff. Comes with a lot of accessories. It offers a lot more functionality. I've had the kind of smaller Backcountry WorkSharp sharpener for a really long time. I've had their belt-driven sharpener for a really long time. WorkSharp makes phenomenal stuff. And I guarantee, no matter what type of hunter you have in your life, they're using blades of some kind. I'm even gonna test if this particular device will be good for sharpening my broadheads, because they're kind of a tricky thing to sharpen. But guaranteed, they've got an EDC knife, or they've got a pocket knife, or they've got processing knives. If they fish, they might have fillet knives. I guarantee you've got kitchen knives. They can all be sharpened with this. So I think a knife sharpener is a fantastic gift idea. Clocking in at number 5, water purifier. So this is my personal recommendation for a water purifier. Some people like filter systems. Some people like pump systems. Some people like gravity fed systems. I prefer the UV light systems, specifically SteriPen. Been using them for over 5 years. I've never had any bug, any giardia, any bacteria, never had an issue. Batteries are sometimes an issue, but that's why I'm recommending the SteriPen Ultra. So it clocks in at $130, but it's USB chargeable. So all hunters who go in the backcountry are gonna have some type of power pack to keep their inReach or their phone or their GPS. And so not relying, they used to take these really weird batteries, or they would take 4 AA batteries and the thing was huge. But this new SteriPen Ultra charges via USB, is still just as efficient as all the other SteriPens. And in my opinion, it's really the only drawback is you can't get out sediment and funk. Like, I wouldn't want to drink from an elk wallow, for example, with a SteriPen. You're not going to die, but it's going to taste very, very bad. But you could use a sock, you could use a shirt, like there's other ways to filter it. But in my experience, the SteriPen is the easiest, most efficient, kind of best overall water filtration tool. Coming in at number 6, Headlamp. So we're gonna go a little bit unique on this one. I'm gonna recommend 2 headlamps, but they're both in this what I'm gonna call like next gen or like ultra headlamp category. Traditionally, people have bought $60 to $70 headlamps that were in the 300 to 500 lumen category, like the Black Diamond Storm, and a bunch of others that are in that category. That's what I myself have run for years. Recently, I've upgraded to the Phoenix HM65 RT. Now it's 1500 lumens, and after using it for a season, I will never go back to a traditional headlamp. Yes, it's heavier. Yes, it takes a little bit more juice to charge the batteries, but the functionality, and if you turn it down, it lasts forever. If you're packing out in the dark, in weather, being able to turn those huge floodlights on, changed the game entirely. And I can say that most hunters are not gonna have one of these bigger headlamps yet, so it's a pretty safe bet for a gift. Now I'm gonna recommend 2. Number 1 is the Phoenix HM65 RT. It's $105. You can get it directly from their site. If you're in Canada, you can buy it from MEC. I looked on REI and they don't stock it at REI, I'm not sure. The thing about the 65 RT is that it doesn't have the third band over the top. I don't like that. I prefer just the band around the side. A little bit less bulky in your pocket when you're not wearing it. And you could be wearing a hat or a toque or something else, and sometimes I've got a GoPro on, and I just don't want that strap over the top. I've been running it all season. I can speak directly to it. It's a phenomenal headlamp. Love it. The second one I'm gonna recommend is the Peaks Duo Backcountry from Peaks. Now this is $123. They're a direct-to-consumer brand, so you gotta go to the Peaks site to actually buy it. I bought this one last week. It just showed up. I haven't tested it yet, but I know enough people that I trust in the industry that have run this headlamp and were really impressed by it. The nice thing about the Peaks compared to the Phoenix is that it has a red light and the Phoenix does not. Now, I will be doing a back-to-back review on these two, but after a couple more hunts, and it won't be in time for a Christmas shopping list. But I think like an ultra-powerful headlamp is a fantastic gift idea for any hunter. And even if they've got one, everybody needs a backup headlamp, and you can always leave one in the truck. All right, we're gonna take a bit of a left turn here for number 7, underwear. Now, if you've seen many of my videos, you're gonna know I'm a huge proponent of Lululemon men's boxer briefs. I know it sounds weird. I used to razz any dude who wore Lululemon, but after wearing their stuff, it's insane how comfortable it is. I did a whole video on the quest for the perfect backcountry underwear, and hands down, head and shoulders above all the rest, are the Lululemon Always in Motion long mesh. So they have a 7-inch leg. Now the reason that's important for the backcountry is that the more taper there is to the leg, it gets down to the where your quad starts to narrow, and it can be tight and it won't ride up your quad. So I'm being very specific about this because I tested other ones, and these are the ones that in my experience are the best, hands down. They're crazy comfortable, they're crazy durable, they're not cheap. They're $75 for a 3-pack. So I'm very particular in that it's these specific boxers that I really believe are the best overall fit for the backcountry. So 3-pack, $75 US. It's not bad. I bought 4 pairs 2 years ago, and I'll be honest, they're starting to get holes in them now, and I hunt my ass off, and I usually only bring 2 pairs for a 10-day hunt. So they really do get a solid beating, and they are starting to break down now. I don't really expect a high tech piece of textile like that to last much longer than that, to being that thin and that comfortable and wicking moisture that effectively. Like it's not canvas. It's going to eventually wear out. But I think at $25 a pair to last 2 years is well worth the money. So highly recommend Lululemon, Always in Motion, 7-inch long mesh men's boxers. Number 8, gloves. Again, we're gonna do something a little bit unique here, and I'm gonna offer you 2 options because everybody's gonna have like really nice winter gloves or really nice 3-in-1 gloves or nice mitts or leather gloves. And in reality, what I found is kind of most practical, or what I end up using the most, are kind of these thinner, more adaptable gloves. So first up, a pair of mechanics gloves. Now these are the name brand mechanics, spelt with an X at the end. You can get them on Amazon for $11, linked down below. These are great for just hiking. They're great when you got your trekking poles. If you're in like rocky, shaly sheep terrain and you're putting your hands on stuff all the time. Overall, they're just a fantastic general all-purpose glove. And with that, for that little amount of money, to just have a pair in your pack when you're on a hunt, super handy. And then the second thing I'm going to recommend are a pair of merino liner gloves, specifically with the fingers and thumb that are smart screen compatible. So I've been to a lot of winter hunting the last couple years, and even taking all your gloves off for 2 minutes to like check your map or send an inReach, your hands start getting crazy cold. So now what I've been doing is wearing these thin merino liners underneath my gloves. So I'll take out the heavy liners that the gloves come with and wear these thin liners instead. And then when I take off the mitt or the shell, I can still type on my phone, send a text, look at things on my map, and I don't have to take off the merino liners, and my hands don't get that like bone-chilling cold that sets in. You can get these at REI, you can get these at Mech, you can get these at Amazon. The pair I found at REI were $34. The ones I buy at MEC I think are like $14. So they're around. But either way, a kind of lightweight, a practical pair of thinner gloves I think are a great purchase. Number 9, socks. I'm a huge proponent of over-the-calf socks. I find they stay up a little bit better. Also, for anybody who's competed any sports or been an athlete in the past, and you know the benefit of compression socks and muscle recovery, I just really enjoy the additional benefits of an over-the-calf sock. So I'm going to specifically recommend a Darn Tough Hunter over-the-calf sock. And this might not be something that the hunter in your life wears now, but I think that's also cool. Maybe they won't love it and maybe they won't end up using it, but I think there's a really high possibility that you're going to expose them to something that they didn't use previously that they'll find really beneficial. So, and no hunter can ever have enough high quality socks. We burn through them like you wouldn't believe. Coming in at the 10 spot, a belt. Again, belts are something like gloves and socks that I've spent a ton of time researching. I've bought multiple different brands, multiple different types, and I'm going to specifically recommend an Arcade Ranger belt. Now I've tried the nylon webbing belts and all the rest of it, leather belts. The problem is we carry such heavy backpacks and the belt crosses just underneath your iliac crest, and then where the hip pads compress onto the iliac crest, the belt ends up biting into your hips. Now the Arcade belts specifically are very thin. Also, the longer you hike throughout the day, the more you sweat. And I find I actually shrink like maybe an inch or a half inch off my waist every day. And then at night, I get rehydrated, it comes back up. And then, so throughout the day, I'm consistently retightening my pack and retightening my belt. So the benefit of the Arcade belt is that it's made out of a stretchy material. So it can be a little bit extra tight in the morning. It's still super comfortable. But then as your waist is shrinking throughout the day, the belt doesn't get too loose and it keeps everything where you want it locked in all day. Now this clocks in at $32. You can buy them at REI, Mech, Amazon. You'll find the links below. Number 11, Firestarter. Now I'm gonna recommend a product put out by Bigfoot Bushcraft. These guys were good enough to send me a tin of these, I wanna say like a year and a half ago. And to be honest, I just never actually got around to opening it up. Finally opened it up, took them out on a couple of hunts this year. They're basically these almost waxed I don't know if they're cotton or what material they are, but they look like little plugs, almost like an earplug. And they're dipped in some kind of sticky material. It's kind of waxy. They're pink. And they come in this little tin, or you can just throw them in a Ziploc bag, and you just hold a match to them. They take a little bit longer to get going than I would like, but they're super lightweight. Pretty sure they're waterproof. They burn for a really long time, and they're cheap. I think there was like a 30 pack was $20 or something like that. But this could really be any kind of fire starter. Trioxane is very popular. You don't want those crushed wood pellet ones. You want something that's made out of some type of flammable chemical. We want a powerful fire starter. We're not worried about what's biodegradable or not. We're worried about what's going to start a fire in the soaking wet in the middle of the night. There's like the easy flame ones that come in the kind of little blister packs as well. But I think any fire starter would be a great kind of stocking stuffer type gift for the hunter in your family. Number 12, fuel transfer tool. So for anyone who hunts in the backcountry, you will know one of the biggest frustrations is fuel canisters. You never use the perfect amount of fuel canisters. So you're always coming home with a half of one. Then when you go out on your next hunt, you're never really sure how much fuel is in there. You don't want to take extra fuel, so you just keep buying new fuel canisters. And after time, I bet you I've got 15 half-empty fuel canisters in my garage right now. So what I'm recommending is this two-way valve device. It is $20. You can buy it on Amazon. You basically screw two fuel canisters together, and you can freeze one and not the other to kind of force the gas to move one way. And then you open the valve, and you can take the half-empty fuel canisters and move them all into other fuel canisters, and you can turn 10 half-empty ones into 5 singular full ones. And to be honest with you, you can actually overfill them a little bit. So if normally those 100-gram canisters, you can put 110 or 115 and get an extra day or two worth of fuel in there. I'm not going to officially recommend doing that, but you can do it. But that would be a great gadget, and not a lot of people are onto these. So this is one of those ones that I can almost guarantee the hunter in your family doesn't own this, and it's cheap. Number 13, an accessory for your binoculars. So you're gonna see this called a Bino Bandit or a Bino Buddy. You see them on different places. The link I'm gonna provide is to Go Hunt, but I think I've seen them on Black Ovis and other places. It's basically like a neoprene eye mask that attaches to your binoculars that shades the sun. So when you're glassing into the sun, or when the sun is coming in from the side, there's a gap between your binoculars and your eyes, and you just get beat up by the sun. So what the Bino Bandit does is kind of create this like dark space that you sink your face into, blocks out all the sun, and you get much better contrast and clarity in your sight picture. Super cheap. $16 at the Go Hunt gear shop. Highly recommend it. I love mine. Number 14, lens wipes. So again, I'm gonna make 2 recommendations here. Number 1 are for disposable lens wipes, and I'm gonna specifically recommend the Zeiss disposable wipes. I'm gonna link them to Amazon down below. They come in a big box. There's like 4 little boxes in the one big box. There's like 240 wipes, I think. These are perfect for really wet conditions when an actual lens cloth will just move the moisture around. The alcohol in the lens wipes will actually evaporate the moisture off of your objective and ocular lens. And I always recommend having a half a dozen or a dozen of these in your pack on any hunt. And second to that, actual like lens cloths, like microfiber lens cloths. I think you should carry both. Here we have a drugstore called London Drugs. I'm sure there's like a Publix or would have something similar that sells camera gear and is a drugstore. And they actually have little lens cloths that tuck into little neoprene bags, and they've got a clip, and you can just clip that onto your Bino harness. It doesn't have to be one of those ones that tucks into the bag, but I just find those remarkably convenient. But I think both disposable lens wipes and reusable microfiber lens cloths would make a fantastic stocking stuff. And finally, number 15, instant coffee. So for anybody who hunts in the backcountry, you know you can never have enough instant coffee because you're always going to get some before you leave on a hunt. Now, I'm specifically not linking Black Rifle Coffee because Black Rifle Coffee still refuses to sell instant coffee on their Canadian website. They have a Canadian website, they sell products on the Canadian website, but they won't sell instant coffee on that site. So I'm not going to recommend buying their products because I think that's a shitty thing to do to us Canadians, and you should give us the option to get decent shipping rates on the instant coffee. So I'm going to recommend Starbucks Via instead. You can buy them at any grocery store. There's good medium roast options. There's good dark roast options. It tastes fantastic. It's hyper compact. Like, they are the smallest little instant coffees you've ever seen in your life. They run about $1 a piece. It's $8 for a box. Like I say, you can get them right in Starbucks or you can get them at almost any grocery store. All right, there you have it. 15 gift ideas ranging from $900 all the way down to $8. I'm sure there are a couple of items in there that you could gift to your hunter and your family that they wouldn't be expecting and they would be really happy to receive. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know if any of those resonated with you. Let me know if you've got a couple you want to add. Let's keep a running list. And then next year when I go to update this, I'll have access to that many more options that I can add to next year's list. So whatever you're celebrating this holiday season, whatever your background or cultural heritage is, just, happy holidays from my family to yours. I hope you get to spend a ton of time with your family. Take some time off work. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your kids. Enjoy some food, have some fun. Thanks again.